Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me here. We are going to talk about some juicy things today, okay? What are these juicy things that we're going to be talking about today, ladies? We are going to talk about relationships, especially relationships with you guessed it, your in laws. Now, this is not to point out anything. I am just, you know, sharing the information, sharing things that I've learned. And for me, I feel I have very mixed emotions about that. But it it's amazing what type of different characters that you get to see throughout the years. And there will be some great rises and some lows, right? And that's normal because relationships are all about that. But I'm letting you know now, if you are younger than a certain age frame, and you haven't really had many relationships or vice versa or whatever, and you feel like, okay, what do I need to really look out for when it comes to the other side of the family? And I think it also applies to whether you are an in-law or, it's your immediate family. I think this rule will apply to all. And I would have to say personal space and personal respect um, has to be given in terms of just people's opinion. And you don't have to live by people's opinion. You just have to know when not to say certain things in order to keep the peace, but at the same time speaking out in just enough so that they know where your healthy boundaries are. And that's something that really it takes practice and it takes experience for one to actually to actually hone in that skill. But it starts with self-realization. And I know that, it's not only because I'm a very spiritual person that I've come across this, but it could be anybody who's had multiple experiences and just learned this concept. It is about self-realization. Once you know who you are, you will never be lost. And you will know that you don't need people's approval in that way. Although I have to say, for me personally, and this channel is not about me, it's about us women. And it can also apply to men, obviously, right? Because we're all humans and we all have relationships. But I think that for me, the hardest lesson that I've ever learned is thinking that you know what people are thinking. No matter how much of a psychic you are, and you may have these wonderful optical perspective ability, even if you have any of the clairvoyance or clairaudience or any of the special spiritual things, you will never really truly know how people feel until they actually voiced it personally, right? Because there's always going to be some type of filtering or like holding back. And that's why I am a huge advocate for everyone to truly just say what you mean. The guessing game doesn't really work anymore. It's the form of manipulation. And I know there's a negative connotation that's attached to the word manipulation, because I actually personally love the word manipulation. I love the way it sounds. I love the way how it rolls off the tongue. I love the form of being able to mold something in, the good part of the meaning of manipulation. But then there's also, if you take the word manipulation and you actually add something very vindictive into it, then you become a puppeteer, right? You become the puppet master. But being a puppet master doesn't always mean that you're a bad person, but you're able to kind of mold things to create things to existence in the way that you want it to exist, right? So once you've mastered that, if you are the type of person, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying if that person is a person that has very, very minimal compassion, minimal empathy, minimal sympathy, that is a recipe for disaster in characteristic traits. And I say this lovingly, please change. If you know that you are like that, please work on it, because I'm working on it. And this is why I can actually attest and say that I'm making this channel because I really want us all to grow. And a lot of the times we only have ourselves to really push and put the mirror and the looking glass upon ourselves is what I'm saying. And I didn't want to say the word blame, but at the same time, it's not the meaning of blame, but more of like, you only have yourself to really take accountable, to be accountable, you know, for, if I can say that correctly. But I want to talk about accountability and just being who you truly are and meaning what you say and say what you mean. And for me personally, I've had many types of different experiences in terms of like, you know, meeting many different people from many different walks of life. And if you've met anybody who has the utmost mastery in creating illusion around relationships, meaning they're creating this illusion, right? And you're thinking that they feel some type of way about you because they're so good at it, but you're just kind of like, okay, wow, okay, maybe this person really is liking me, or maybe they see right through me, they see the true me and my soul. But then you start seeing like traces of narcissism or self-centeredness, and then you're like, okay, it's okay, you know, that they're just going through some stuff, and you find excuses for people. I'm telling you right now, ladies, you might want to stop that. If you are enabling it, and I'm not accusing you of doing that, take it from me, you have to stop finding excuses for people. They, just like you, they are intelligent in their own way, and everybody has their own types of intelligence, right? Some may come across a little rough around the edges, and that's okay. Everybody has very different personality traits. We're all unique. Nobody is more special than anybody else, and that's the truth. In the divine's eyes, I'm just attesting, you know, we are all unique and beautiful. But when you manipulate or become vindictive and utilize your uniqueness for the dark, it's kind of like, that's probably not a good idea, you know, because karma is a real thing. And that's what we're going to talk about today, since I'm already on the topic. Accountability is important. Hypocrisy has to end there. In order for you to really truly be yourself, you have to take accountability for your mistakes, for your gains, for your manipulation, for your good doings and wrongdoings, and the list goes on. That's not even the entirety of the list. But if you don't know that that's what you need, it's kind of hard to, what is that word? It's hard to heal something you're not aware of. And that's why it's really important to do self-realization, right? Did I mention that in the previous, I don't know if I mentioned that in the previous video, but if you haven't seen any of my videos yet, I do work on, this video is about realization and self-worth, and building yourself to become anew and knowing what you're worth, right? And that really, really relates to how you treat yourself in order to really exude healthy boundaries, and then allowing other people to see and follow suit. And that's the most important thing. But also knowing to be very forgiving, in terms of forgiving yourself first and foremost for allowing things to slip on by through your filtering, right? Because there will be people who are very, 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 very charismatic, or they can be very cultured and very good at learning how to hold certain parts of themselves, which is, everyone's allowed to do that. That we are, you know, we owe it to ourselves to not have to share every part of ourselves to other people if we choose not to. It is our own privilege, right? Your own autonomous right. So that part I am not, you know, rebuttaling or even like arguing about. But I am saying, if you have any characteristic traits that kind of are leaning towards not really, you know, being honest, or thinking that you're always right, or self-righteousness, you might want to work on that. And sometimes the people in your lives, especially, when if you're not close to your in-laws, then it's kind of hard to really show them who you truly are, and that's okay. But then you can also be yourself, right? I'll tell you an example of someone I know. So I have this person in my life, which I'm not going to be able to completely cut this person out of my life. But this person has created rifts between my relationship, has been talking smack about me, which is fine, right? That's on them. And this video is not about me ranting about what has been done to me, but I'm only sharing this part of my life so that I can actually help me and you navigate towards a better path. And someone really wise had told me spiraling isn't going to help, and learning how to cut your losses is one of the best advice that this person has ever given me. Learn how to cut your losses and move forward. And I'm going to say the same thing to you. Once you know that this person is not going to change, because sometimes through decades of the same kind of mode of operations or mode of apparatus, right? If they have been operating in this way for so many decades, don't think that you're going to be that very special person to change the way that they are because you want them to be better. You cannot change other people. You can only take accountability for yourself, and other people will have to take accountability for themselves. So all I can really say, ladies, is love yourself more by letting certain people go. And sometimes, even though if you are in the very similar situation as me, where this person, there's not really a way for me to let this person go completely because they are on the other side in a higher, if there's a hierarchy, but in a higher ranking or whatever, that they think that they have authority over my spouse or my partner or myself just because they're, number one, much older, or they have raised this person that I'm in love with, or, the list goes on. All you can do is make sure you create enough space for yourself between this person and you to give yourself grace. To also give them grace, but giving them grace because you want to make sure that you're okay. Mental health is so important, and I feel so liberated in terms of having a better understanding of why did this happen? Why did I had to find out in this way, right? And in order to also give them respect, I won't actually dive into what had happened. All I can say is I found out true colors, who was backing me up and who was just faking it all along. And this, I'm telling you, narcissism can be played out for so many years, and you might not even be able to track it until it all comes out through influence or whatever, drinking, for example, and all the stuff comes out. And then you're like, oh, okay, so where do I go from here? Where do you go from here, sisters? I really recommend you to move forward and go from here stronger, knowing and trusting in yourself. Because like I said in the beginning of the conversation, once you know who you truly are and have better control of your mental space, right? Because it starts as a whole. It's not just the mind. I mean, people talk about hacking the mind all the time, but the mind can also have an ego right behind it, just creating and wreaking havoc, right? So to say that you have to start first creating the mind, I actually disagree with that, because for me personally, and I'm just saying you can disagree with me as well, and that's okay. There are 3 trifectas: mind, body, and spirit. The second you have those 3 aligned, no one can mess with you. No one. You're strong. You're confident. You're clear in your thinking. You know exactly who you are. And even if they try to defamate your character, they can go ahead and defamate that character, because that's going to be on them. Love yourself, girls. love yourself wholeheartedly. And I can say that love. And coming from someone who has a past inferior complex, like thinking that everybody like has to love me in the past, I'm past that now because I'm done, right? And I'm pretty sure if you're watching my video, you're probably at that point as well. It's okay. It's going to work out. Everything's going to be fine. You know why? Because you're going to be working on yourself and you're going to be picking yourself up. Doesn't matter if you're having a financial problem, a physical problem, mental problem. As long as you know you have these problems and you're self-aware, there's always a way to get better. Okay? There's always a way. And once you, even if it's a small little minute progress, that's progress that you didn't have yesterday. And I'm so proud of you for that. And I say that wholeheartedly. And I want to cry because people can shit on you. They can say things about you. But when you know yourself, okay, my love, when you know yourself, you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about, oh, okay, you know, how am I going to live today? Or what do I do? You're not living for anybody else but yourself. Be the best version of you. And this is why I'm making this channel, because I want you to be the best version of you. It doesn't matter if people can, you know, look down on you thinking you're, oh, why are you choosing this path? This path makes more money. And, oh, you know, are you just being lazy? Is it because you want to just only do blah, blah, blah? No. You do you, and you find a way. And yes, even if you fall, get back up. And I tell you this, you are much stronger than you give yourself credit for. And I know that's a cliche saying that you hear all the time with content creators, but I'm honestly backing them up in terms of they mean it when they say it. Because they've been there. And you're going through it and you're doing great. And keep going. And it doesn't matter if people hate you, as long as you know who you are, as long as you're not shitting on anybody else and you're doing the best you can. You cannot judge other people, especially I notice in having been in the beauty industry for so long. And this is not me shitting on women, but I do see a lot of cattiness and competition. Like, why? Why are they doing that? And I'm pretty sure if you're watching my video, you're probably not like that, because, you know, then our vibration wouldn't align. But like, if you happen to have people like that and they're jealous of you, without even like making it very obvious, right? And wishing you ill will on the sly, let them be, because they can't touch you. You do you. You be strong. You shine. You shine your light so hard naturally. And usually people with a lot of light tend to attract those that are very insecure. And that's a truth that exists in a lot of people that has that character trait of bad competition. Competition isn't bad. Don't forget that. Like, manipulation isn't bad. Competition isn't bad. It's how you use it. It's how you portray yourself and what you do with it, right? Because you can have good competition. Because I was talking to a client, I think last month, about, can resiliency be taught? That was a very controversial topic amongst the salon girls. And I was thinking, and I said, I think that not complete resiliency can be taught without experience. It can only be taught by experiences. And now that you know that you've experienced this thing, where do you go from there? And this is why this video, or this conversation, is about that. Stay accountable. Stay knowing who you are. And I will see you in my next video. I will be making a lot of different types of videos. I just haven't really had the time to record as of yet. But I am revamping my bedroom and the space that I have. And I'm going to be able to do more and give more. If you do see, you know, if you do see my videos, feel free to write up, you know, how you feel or whatever. And then, you know, we'll try to be there for each other. But if you do like my videos, feel free to click on like and subscribe. No pressure, but I'm going to be here around my little corner of the internet. And I'm just going to say, we're going to talk and dive deeper into relationships, since it's not just about women. It's about everyone. But my channel is gearing towards women. So if you really want to learn more on how to keep healthy as a woman, in terms of physical, mental, and, you know, holistically, well, I can't say holistically because I don't always eat holistically made food, right? But anyways, I feel better, you know, talking about it with you guys. This is what we need. We need to be there for each other. And I really love coming here. I love recording for you guys. I love being able to express myself. And then if you want to say, hey, you know, I'm going through it too. No judgment. No judgment zone here. I definitely understand you. And be a part of the family. Come visit anytime. Love you guys. We'll see you later.